ready for your dose of reality. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dr. Quack podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Quack.
And I'm the important one, Mr. Mayhem. Our first Dr. Quack podcast review in the new office, and you give us this turd.
Oh
my God. I hope you get cleaners in here. Stanley Steamer, somebody to get the stench of this show out of this new office.
They definitely got their biohazard suits on. I'm telling you, this was not one of the best ones. And we all know 1995 was not a great year, was it?
No. 92, we'll get technical. November of 1991, all the way up until about February of 1996 is seen as some of the worst, most god-awful wrestling imaginable. Right now we're going through what people are saying is worse than this in the current writing. No, it's not. Do not delude yourself. This is worse.
Yes, it is. There were some good moments during 92 to 94, I'll say, but 95, there wasn't a whole lot there. And we're going into In Your House 4.
We don't want this one for life. We want it for out the door.
In Winnipeg, Canada.
Yeah, by the way, Chris Jericho was not a member of the E at this time, so they couldn't have him on the show because he's from Winnipeg, Manitoba. And I'm sure he was swearing when he was in WCW, you guys made fun of my hometown.
They did, 10,000 in attendance. On commentary, you had Vince McMahon, Jerry Lawler, and Jim Ross.
Actually, this wasn't horrible. Vince did a good job here. He's underrated. Yes, he's goofy. Yes, he's silly. Yes, he spills the beans a little bit too much. But he's a decent play-by-play guy if you want to get excited about what's going on. JR did a good job of analyzing the matches from the amateur point of view, kind of Gordon Soley of look at the way these moves are done, look at building the stories.
Wait a minute. Nobody knows who Gordon Soley is. No, he wasn't in the WWE.
Well, then you shouldn't be watching our show if you don't know about Gordon Soley. Kayfabe word of the day, educate yourself.
Yes! Howard Finkel doing the ring announcing.
Yeah, he didn't do too bad. Actually, it wasn't Howard Finkel.
Thought it was.
No, it was not Howard Finkel. I don't know the name of the guy, but it's their Canadian ring announcer that was up there. So I don't remember his name. It says Howard Finkel in the Wikipedia, but we all know Wikipedia is fake.
So there you go. Yeah, if you know who it is, put it in the comments section. Let's move on to the show here, because I know you want to talk about the show.
Yeah, we started out with Gorilla Monsoon, who at this time they called him the interim president, which he wasn't. He was a storyline-only president, talking about Shawn Michaels and his concussion. He wasn't cleared, and he will come out publicly to surrender the belt. Now, the story in 1995 was that he was beat up by 9 Marines in Syracuse, New York.
Oh, we're going to go into this.
There are no Marine bases in Syracuse, New York. He was beat up by one guy who was a former Marine because Shawn Michaels got drunk and grabbed his girlfriend's boobs and then got his ass kicked. So there's the real story, folks.
22 a day. That's all I'm going to say. Moving on here, opening match. Hunter Hearst Helmsley taking on Fatu, the man of the streets.
They didn't call him that yet.
They were trying to, though.
They tried to, and this was snub Hunter Hearst Helmsley. This was not Triple H.
No.
This was the WWS version of Lord Steven Regal when he was
a blue blood.
Yeah, when he was a blue blood. When he was Jean-Paul Levesque using his real name in WCW, coming to the ring with the cane and the long British coat. This match actually wasn't bad. These guys didn't have a lot of chemistry. Fatu still thought he was a little agile, so he only got up about this high, and Triple H trying to run underneath him.
What a maneuver!
What a maneuver, exactly. And they put over the Hunter Hearst Helmsley was undefeated at this point, and he stayed undefeated. This was not a technical classic, but it was a good storytelling match. The crowd bought it, and the crowd actually enjoyed this match. I went 2.5.
Yeah, I went 2.5. I felt like this was a strong opener. Like, for this show, it was a decent setting of the table, but we're going to get into the rest of this show.
Well, there's one more match here that does what you like to do, setting the table. But other than that, the magician did not know how to pull the sheet out from underneath, and we got the tablecloth and the food on the floor.
Yeah, our next match here, the Smoking Guns taking on the 1-2-3 Kid and Razor Ramon. Hey, yo.
Yeah, this was for the tag team titles. JR was really doing a good job of the stuff they did in the 90s, that kayfabe was still alive at this time. Bart Gunn and Billy Gunn are not from Texas. They said they were from South Texas, and they both got scholarships to Sam Houston State University, which is here in the Houston area,
yes,
on rodeo scholarships, with Sam Houston State does have a rodeo program.
Yes.
These two guys are not rodeo stars.
Oh.
So Jim Ross did a great job of trying to keep kayfabe alive. Good job, Jim Ross.
Yes, good job.
This match actually, besides the double duck on the hot tag, really wasn't that horrible. The match had no technical flaws, short of the one huge double duck. Standard tag team psychology. The tag team champs get their asses kicked, and then they start to come back when the crowd gets behind them. There was the conflicting heel turn of X-Pac. I think he turned on Monday Night Raw the day after this show, where he became a full-blown heel.
Yes, he joined Money Inc.
But he tried to do the I want to get the cover on Billy Gunn, which, by the way, he definitely had his Saved by the Bell haircut going on. He looked like he was trying to be not Slater, but the other one, the blonde kid.
Zach Morris.
Zach, thank you. And anyway, he got rolled up and got quick counted. 2 3/4. This match was actually decent for three guys who were not always known for their best in-ring work, Razor Ramon excluded.
Yeah, I went 2.5. Like I said, another solid match. I love that ending because it gave the start to X-Pac into later things. Because, you love X-Pac when he went further down the line.
No, I did not.
Oh, man. And now we're going to move on to my 2-finger salute, because this match here did not belong on the card.
Really?
And I'm talking about Goldust taking on Marty Jannetty. This was god-awful. This had no purpose. Marty Jannetty looked like he was on drugs. Goldust did not look that great out there. We've seen you better, Goldust. This actually, from me, gets a 0.5 star.
Wow. Wow. I thought you were going to give the 2-finger salute to the next match, because that's a proctologist's dream, all that room there.
I'll get into that.
But, well, I was not a fan of this match either. Yes, this match actually belonged, from the standpoint of this was Goldust's in-ring in front of a live crowd debut. Fine. For a pay-per-view, the Goldust character, in what we know coming up, deserved to be debuted on a pay-per-view.
Yes.
Marty Jannetty was not the right opponent.
No.
This match was way too long. I think it was like 9.5 minutes. And my God, I'm sitting there looking at the watch every 30 seconds going, is it over yet? Oh my God. Jannetty was super sloppy. I'm going to take a lot of heat for this. Goldust has never been a main eventer, and this match really showed it. He came in flat.
Yes.
You could tell why they brought Marlena in, because he really was flat. He had no clue how to work the crowd. He was always the natural who never had to work the crowd.
The best part of this match, Marlena. Good job.
You're right. I put down Marty Jannetty may be intoxicated. Nobody cared about this match. The crowd never got off their hands. They never stood up. I can't believe you went half a star. I went 1 3/4. I'm rounding it down to 1 1/4. When I heard what you said, you're right. I got to round it down to 1 1/4.
Yeah, it was not that great. Let's move on to a decent match here. King Mabel and Sir Mo taking on Yokozuna with Mr. Fuji and Jim Cornette.
Yeah, I want to get into something just a little bit before this. They've been pushing the 1-800 Wrestling Connection line. You could call for $1.49 a minute in 1995, and if you were one of the lucky 5,000 fans, you got a chance to talk to them live at $1.49 a minute. The only thing I want to say about this is thank you, WWF, for putting up there. These lines no longer work.
Thank you, God. Because somebody would have called them.
So now let's move into... One ton of fun. King Mabel with Sir Mo with only 4 guys carrying that sedan. One of them was Reno Riggins, who's a power lifter. I don't know who the other 3 were. They earned their money with Yokozuna, Cornette, and Fuji. Sloppy garbage. Nobody cared. I want my 7 minutes back. The only funny thing about this, there's 2 things, and they both involve Jim Cornette.
Yes, and that's why he would get my Quack Attack for this whole show, because he actually did a lot of great stuff. Go ahead and tell him.
Jim Cornette actually had Yokozuna fall at him on the outside, came in selling it, and then that jacket looked like Sweethearts exploded. The only thing I was waiting for was to see, "You're my Valentine" on the back of his coat. 1 star... Jim Cornette, I'm going to give this match a half a star. Cornette gets a whole 1.5 stars, so 2 stars, but 1.5 for Cornette.
Yes, and that's why it gets the Quack Attack, because that was probably one of the greatest things. Jim Cornette would sacrifice himself in multiple matches, and this was no exception at all. I mean, he definitely did.
This is definitely not how you do a big man against big man match.
No.
This match did not belong on the card.
Yeah, neither one of the 2 of them between Goldust and Jannetty. But let's move on here, where we had Razor Ramon taking on the new Intercontinental Champion, Dean Douglas.
Yeah, Gorilla Monsoon came out there, and Vince McMahon was so lost at this point, he threw it to the backstage for Doc Hendrick when Doc Hendrick was in the ring right in front of him. It's proof positive that WCW tried to follow this and didn't get it. Vince McMahon forced his guys to watch what's on the TV so they can tell the people at home what they just saw. So Vince had forgotten that they were right in front of him. But we get Dean Douglas comes down there, our good friend there, Shane Douglas.
Shane Douglas. I'm telling you, it was better seeing him as Dean Douglas than seeing him in that left foot laryngitis.
Well... Yeah, he wasn't a dynamic dude. At least Shane Douglas can ride a skateboard.
Yes,
but he came out there. The Dean Douglas gimmick had legs until Shawn Michaels and X-Pac killed it. Yeah, shock. And Shawn Michaels came out. This had potential to be a good segment of the handoff. And after 10 seconds of Shawn Michaels standing there with that drunk look on his face of, I'm high because my little 1 tear cut face hurts, so I'm pretending I've got a concussion. After about 10 seconds, I was done watching this. I was like, let's move on. And we moved on to actually another decent match. Unfortunately, Shane Douglas and Razor didn't have a ton of chemistry, but they were both talented enough to pull a decent match out of each other. A little bit sloppy. The finish was actually kind of dumb. It really was. The dumb finish of all of a sudden his whole leg is outside the ring and that was the end of Dean Douglas's push because Vince McMahon no longer wanted to push him because Shawn Michaels complained. Because Shawn Michaels originally didn't want to do the job to Shane Douglas because the plan was that Razor Ramon was supposed to win the Intercontinental title at the Royal Rumble. So it was supposed to be a 4-month reign. Well, Shane Douglas got killed because of that, so we got a 2.5-star match with a really crappy ending.
Yeah, I mean, at least we didn't get to hear the song, you know. Tell me a lie!
Yeah.
Right.
And this one, we only had 3 referees here, Jack Doan, Earl Hebner, and the late, great Tim White. Tim Wright just recently passed away.
Yes,
this was the first match he refereed, and he did a good job with this one. Even though the ending was dumb and he was supposed to be blind, he did a good job with it.
Yeah, I went 2 stars on that. I thought it was okay. It was not great, but it passed the course.
It passed. For 1995, this is a 5-star classic.
It was like a kidney stone passing through. You're just thankful it went over. Thank God. But now we got the main event.
Well, before that, this is in Canada. They didn't have Bret Hart on the show. Bret Hart was the #1 contender to take on whoever won the main event at the next show, which was Survivor Series.
Wait a minute, you needed Bret Hart on a show in Canada?
Yes.
That doesn't make sense.
So they put him behind a commentary table and continued his little feud with the Burger King and had Jerry Lawler run off. They could have had Bret Hart easily destroyed. They had Aldo Montoya on the show, who was still new and green. PJ, you've interviewed him. I like him generally. He's actually a decent worker despite the horrible, beside the horrible jockstrap on his head.
Oh.
They could have had Bret Hart destroy him and keep the crowd happy. But no, we got him behind commentary, chasing off Jerry Lawler, and Bret Hart does not do commentary. No. The British Bulldog with Jim Cornette versus the champion, Tussle.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first this time.
Yeah, this was not a great main event. This was pretty bad. I mean, the ending is what really got me, because I'm like, okay, you had Bret Hart interfere in this match. You couldn't have let Diesel go over clean if you're going to have him keep his title. No, you got to have Bret Hart come out here and interfere and make it fight back and forth. I mean, that should have belonged on a Monday Night Raw, or maybe a Superstars at that time, or hell, even a USA Wrestling. Let's throw that up there. But it did not belong on a pay-per-view, especially in Canada.
Yeah, this would have been a great main event on the Gorilla Brain show. This would have been a great main event for that.
Prime time, yeah.
These guys had absolutely no chemistry. None. This match was beyond sloppy. Beyond sloppy. I really felt like watching this match, they felt like trying to do Ric Flair. If you watch the early 80s to mid-80s Ric Flair style, where he got his ass kicked most of the match, you have to have talented people who can do that, people who can sell. Neither one of these guys are very good sellers. You had to have people who actually could do some talented moves. Dropping an elbow on the leg 5 times and then grapevining it is not a talented move, Bulldog.
What a maneuver.
Vince didn't even say what a maneuver. There is rumor, which I'm sure it's out there, it's probably on YouTube, Vince McMahon threw his headphones off and said, horrible, effing horrible. The pull-apart sucked because they just stood there staring at each other, and you could tell the people that were supposed to be brought down to take the pull-apart
weren't there.
No, they were there. They just stood there because they were waiting for him to do something. The crowd went mild on this match. The crowd never got up. The crowd never cared about this pull-apart. The crowd didn't care about this match. They didn't care about this angle. And he's right. The finish was dumb. There was no reason for the Bulldog to go over and just slap Bret Hart. They alluded to it once a little bit where he faked the shot at him in the beginning of the match, and no other reason. Bulldog wasn't getting beat down verbally by Bret Hart. They didn't spend a lot of time over there near each other. This ending made no sense at all. The only thing it was to build up the Bret Hart Diesel match. They could have done it with a clean win, or they even could have done it with Bret Hart getting over there and Diesel punching Bret Hart and Bret Hart coming in and attacking Diesel. They could have done that.
Yeah, this was a match that belonged on Madison Square Garden TV with Craig DeGeorge and Gorilla Monsoon.
Yeah, I went 1 1/4 from the standpoint of, again, Cornette coming in, getting the hard way pulled in, and then getting forearmed by Bulldog and selling his ass off, bumping and flopping on out of the ring. 1 1/4 again because Cornette was involved in this match.
And that's the end of that pay-per-view. Thank you, God. So you think I'm tormenting you. It's actually tormenting me, too. But don't worry.
Are we done with 95?
No. We have one more to do in 95. And this actually came highly recommended from our friend, Mr. Jordan Drake. What do you think?
Oh, boy.
He said this was the best pay-per-view in 95.
I feel good. I feel great. It is the best pay-per-view of 1995.
It's like being the world's tallest midget. I'm Dr. Quack.
And I'm the important one, Mr. Man. Join us next time. Hopefully this is the end of 1995. Leave a comment of something you'd like us to review. Make sure it's not 1995 or it's automatically deleted.
See you then.